Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Timoredbeard and welcome to another Tarkov Let's Talk. If you like this video, please hit that like button, consider subscribing, and don't forget to press that notification bell. Today, we're going to be talking about ammunition in Tarkov and how it can impact you. Like everybody that's played Tarkov for a decent amount of time now knows that ammunition is a really like integral part of performing well. You can have the most meted out incredible gun in the game, but if your ammunition isn't correct, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to get those kills. You're not going to slay people. So the disparity of ammunition that there is in Tarkov, is this realistic? Is it correct? Should things be addressed with ammunition, or is it in a good place? These are the sort of things we're going to be talking about today. So make sure that you stay tuned. I hope you enjoy, and we'll get into it. So, ammunition. There are a lot of things with ammunition that don't make a lot of sense. We obviously have access to No Food After Midnight's ammo chart that is arguably the most detailed, informative chart that we have, based on, the damage of a round, the pen value of the round, the amount of armor damage percent it has, fragmentation chance, and it even gives a really nice color-coded performance sheet against different classes of armor, right? And there are some things that match up and some things that don't necessarily match up. And the thing that I want to start off with talking about is actually 5.56 ammunition, because you actually have this beautiful diagonal line across the 5.56 ammo charts, and you've got this, with War Mage not basically penetrating anything with a pen value of 3, but having a flesh damage of 85, a fragmentation chance of 90%. There's a 90% chance to fragment when it hits, meaning that actually its flesh damage is probably closer to 140, 150, 160, which is a huge amount of damage, right? You got 55 HP, Mark 255 mod 0, and you basically get this chart where this diagonal line where it goes from penning nothing through all the ammos to the end where it pens everything, right? But that's one of the issues right now. I've been like, let's talk 995, right? 995 has been a coveted round for many wipes. 995 is the be all end all. When you get to the end game and you've got loads of money, you just run 995. That is not the case anymore. Now, there's a lot of people, myself included, that think that the 995 ghosting bug is still in effect, the phantom bug. It's basically, there have been many situations where, like, you've sprayed someone with 995 and say you can guarantee that an entire 30 round clip has gone into the guy's chest, right? And okay, yeah, he dies, but when you say you don't shoot anyone else and you leave the raid and you go to the end bit and you're like, right, I shot 30 bullets, they all perfectly went into his chest. Hit count 21? Well, what happened to the other 9 bullets? And this is something that a lot of people have noticed, a lot of people have talked about, and it's that there is a phantom bug with the ammunition where sometimes it's almost like it just shoots a blank, and the bullet doesn't impact, the bullet doesn't affect the other person in any way, shape, or form. 995 also has a very low amount of flesh damage. 5.56 in general has a low amount of flesh damage because it's a very small, high penetration, low damage cartridge. It's the reason why it's so popular with many militaries is because it is designed to maim, not kill. Because with all the liberal stuff and all of the human rights stuff, obviously, in war, you're trying to disable your opponent. You're not trying to outright massacre them, as a fighting ethical force, right? So 5.56 is very popular because it's a very high penetration round, meaning that it can go through certain levels of cover, it can go through armor, but it's not going to, and of course, unless you go straight through someone's brain or straight into some of their more vital internal organs, it's going to maim them. It's not going to kill them, which is arguably a good thing. Maybe not so much if you shoot a guy in some, like a gut shot, and he doesn't have any hospital or support, and then in fact he's still going to die. He's just going to have a very agonizing long death. But that's real life. That's not what we're talking about here in Tarkov. What we're talking about here in Tarkov is the 995 has a very low amount of flesh damage. There's a very high amount of pen, but a very low amount of flesh damage. And for the most part, that means that you're going to have to hit with a lot of bullets to break through. Now, with 995 in general, yeah, sure, if you're running up against guys wearing slicks all the time, then sure, 995 is probably your best bet, because 55A1 is going to take a while to break through that slick. But in 99% of all other situations, 55A1 is better. And the reason for that is that 55A1 deals with up to class 5 armor, no problem. Really doesn't have a problem with it whatsoever. It may have a bit of the damage absorbed on the first bullet against class 5 armor, but after that, it'll go straight through. And it has a whole 5 more flesh damage on it. Now, 995 does 40. And now in a perfect world, if someone's thorax has 80 HP, and you shoot them twice in the thorax with 995, and with it being such a high pen round, it should go straight through the armor, and 80 damage, sorted, you've killed them, right? Unfortunately, when damage hits armor, even if it penetrates through it, it still has its velocity slowed, and damage from a bullet is very much caused by mass times velocity, and so if its velocity slows, the amount of damage it deals drops down. Suddenly 995 isn't 2-tapping to the thorax. 995 is 3-tapping or 4-tapping. This can be a very, very significant change, whereas 55A1 has a 45 damage flesh damage, which means that even if 55A1 loses 5 damage off of each shot on the connection, or maybe it loses 10 damage on the first shot and doesn't lose any damage on the second shot, it still 2-taps to the chest. And in fact, it will still do pretty good against slicks because of the armor percentage damage that 55A1 does, which is 34%. Sorry, it's 52%. So it's got 52% of 45, which means that it's dealing around about 27 armor damage per hit. Give or take, there are other variables, there are other bits. That's a lot of armor damage, which means even on a slick, the way the armor durability works is that as armor durability reduces, its protection level reduces also. So that means that you require a lower amount of pen to be able to go straight through it. So even against a slick, an M855A1 bullet might 3-tap someone much in the same way that a 995 bullet will 3-tap someone. So essentially you then end up paying a lot more money for 995 than you do for 855A1. And you don't get any benefit from it at all. You don't have a reduced amount of bullets to kill. You don't have, better anything, really. It's just more expensive for the same performance. And I mean, we can talk about 5.56 a lot. Arguably its flesh damage is probably too high. But that's a game balance thing, and I understand why it's there. As a little tip though, just run 855A1. It costs you, $3 a round from Peacekeeper. I think it's 300 rubles around from Skier. Just run M855A1. And you'll do absolutely fine, and you won't break your bank, which means you'll have more money to spend on toys like slick armor and expensive helmets and guns and mods and stuff. One of the other different ammo types that has really changed in the latest patch and has suddenly become much more meta, is being run a lot more often, is 9x19. Now 9x19, we're talking your regular 9mm M9 Beretta Glock 17 ammo. It's your regular 9mm pistol ammo, and it's always historically been known as something that has low pen and high flesh damage. And a much slower velocity than rounds such as 5.56 or 5.45. I don't feel like that's shown very well in the ammo tables for 9x19, honestly. We have our top round here, which is 7N39, which by the way is an absolutely kick-ass round, which has 39 penetration and 52 flesh damage, and it's tungsten core, so it's very unlikely to fragment, so it's only got a 5% fragmentation chance, but that makes sense due to the way that the bullet is made, like for penetration. However, it almost shocks me that actually this 9mm round, which is an entire 3.5 millimeters fatter than a 5.56 round, only has the same amount of sort of like flesh damage as your middle ground M855 FMJ 5.56 round. I feel like 9x19, and yeah, so if you look at Quake Maker or Rip rounds, then you've got your 85 flesh damage or 102 flesh damage there. Even with Luger CCI, you got your 70 flesh damage there. But it's 9x19 is supposed to be that ammo that hits really hard, but it gets stopped by armor, right? Now, yes, there are penetration rounds for 9x19. You've got 7N31 that's been introduced recently, which is a real existing round. And you've got AP 6.3, which again has been around for a little while, is a slightly underperforming little brother of 7N31. But I feel like 9x19, because of its limited penetration capabilities, needs to hit harder. Also, I feel like recoil needs to be played with a little bit. 9mm is not a small round by any means. And a little SMG, without any modifications whatsoever, firing it at a full auto rate shouldn't be recoilless, right? Shouldn't be recoilless. Which is and that lack of recoil is a big part of why 9x19 is meta at the moment, because we've had the additions of 7N31 with that 39 pen, which is capable of breaking through class 5 armor in just a few shots, combined with a slightly higher penetration level, a slightly higher flesh damage level than say 5.56 or 5.45. You've suddenly got this ammo that you can shoot like a laser beam through these weapons and kill people quite easily with them. And I feel like part of making this ammo correct and balanced, I feel like the damage needs to be increased on them, but I also feel like the recoil impact of their weapons needs to change as well. A basic MP5, and now don't get me wrong, I know that MP5s are fantastic to handle in real life. And they don't have a lot of recoil, but 9x19 is still a fat round. And it's not subsonic. So, I mean, you could, like, there's always this argument where, oh, well, the VSS and the Val, that's 9mm ammo as well, with a bigger cartridge for more powder and more impact. But the big difference there is that the 9x39, the VSS or the Val ammo, is subsonic ammo. Its velocity is significantly reduced, and because of that, there isn't as much force coming back on the user from the combustion as there would be firing a faster than the speed of sound round, a sonic round. So I mean, guess what I'm trying to say here is that the 9mm ammo needs some changes. Now, I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments about ammo in Tarkov at the moment. I feel like there are some changes that could be made, but I also think that ammo's in a pretty good place right now in terms of performance. Maybe ammo's not necessarily in the best place in terms of accessibility. I feel like accessibility, 855A1 is very, very accessible. AP 6.3 is very, very accessible. Even 7 and 31, if you keep timers on Prapor, for when he resets, you're going to be able to pick up 90 rounds of that every time, which is every couple of hours. And so it's arguably very accessible. So these very high-end top-tier ammos that will essentially take down anyone no matter what they're wearing are very, very accessible. In fact, more accessible than some ammunitions that actually perform worse than them. So the discussion that I want to open here, and I would love to hear your guys' feedback and what you think and what you might like for changes or not to change. The thing that I'm opening here is almost about ammo accessibility. There are, let's talk about ammo damage values and penetration values as well, but I really want to talk about accessibility. What ways could we bring accessibility to these top tier ammos down and maybe push out those mid-tier ammos more, make those mid-tier ammos a more used thing? Because, hey, one thing that almost all of us want are longer fights, right? Longer fights, more enjoyable fights, where you shoot someone and their armor, like, there's but their armor takes it all, and they're kind of messed up, but they pop a painkiller and they reposition, and then you're fighting again, and those fights are the best fights, and that's what we used to have. Now, I hate to talk, back in my day, but, back in Tarkov, when everybody was wearing kivers and Zabralo armors, or what we used to call forts, fights lasted forever. You'd have to reposition 3 or 4 times to take one guy down, and it was this whole sort of mind game of combat, and it was so much fun. And I think a lot of people would love to get that back. So anyway, this is the discussion I want to open. I want to talk to you guys, in the comments below, or through DMs. You can join in on my Discord. There'll be a link in the description. There'll also be a link in the description for the ammo chart that I'm referencing all this information from as well. And yeah, let's open a discussion about the availability of ammo, of top tier ammos. Let's open a discussion about maybe changing 9x19 and 5.56's pen to flesh damage ratios, and yeah, let's get some good information out of it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've been Timoredbeard. If you enjoyed this episode of Tarkov Let's Talk, please do hit that like button, consider subscribing, and don't forget to press that notification bell. I stream on Twitch Tuesday to Saturday, starting at 12 PM GMT. I mostly play Tarkov, though I do play a few other things as well. I would love to see you there, and come talk to me and chat about this thing. Open up a conversation with me. I'd love to pick your brains and let you pick my brains. But anyway, this is it, guys. I'll catch you next week for another Tarkov episode. Don't know if it'll be a Let's Talk or something else, but we'll see. Hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll see you on the flip side. Peace out.